The show voicemail is up and running. Eric just cleared it out today. 877-823-8477. You have a question about anything on the show, things we may have forgotten about, especially as we wrap up the year as well. 877-823-8477. This one is from Lauren.
Oh, my gosh. Hey, guys, it's Lauren, and I love listening to your show. I really love the new version of the show.
Thank you.
And basically, I'm calling because I want to know what is the most misunderstood thing about you guys.
What is the most misunderstood thing about us? Who wants to go first? Okay. Let's go. Nose goes.
I feel like I need to think about this.
Oh, nose goes
like
Riley.
About us individually?
I think we can do individually and then maybe each other. I think that's probably fair.
I think the most misunderstood thing about John
yeah.
Is that he is just basically nothing more than a jokester. Like, honestly, because that's what I thought when I first met him. I was like, who is this kid that just can't take anything at all ever seriously? But I don't think it's really that, because you take your career seriously, you take your friendships seriously, you take your relationships with your family seriously, and your job so seriously. So I think that you use comedy as a way to kind of get away from all that for a second.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's really deep, yes.
Like, kind of as a second to be like, okay, yeah, I'm a really hard worker and I really do care about the things I really do care about. But to ease all of that, you're just an imbecile sometimes. Am I wrong?
He's not wrong.
I mean, I guess that's fair.
No.
Okay, that's fair. And then what's the most misunderstood thing about yourself?
Dumb bitch.
Yeah.
Listen, I come across very serious a lot of times. Like, I come across as very stark-faced, and there's, like, even pictures of me that are like, whoa, what's wrong with Riley? Like, she is literally, like, she looks so angry.
That RBF.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have the best one ever. And I don't know that it's that. I think that I also, too, like to laugh. I just tend to lean serious first, and then I will laugh later.
I think that's fair. I think that's very fair. Rose, so why don't you pick somebody in the show, most misunderstood thing about them, and then about yourself?
I feel like sometimes people think that Riley can come across negative, which I don't necessarily think is the case. I think she's lived a lot of life, and so she's more of a realist first, and then, but she is like a very positive person. You just kind of have to she's like an onion. You have to get through the layers.
Yeah.
You learn a lot about, I feel like I learn something new about her every day. And then for myself, I think people might think I'm a pushover, but I'm really not, and I stand my ground. And it just takes a lot. I like to sit back and get my thoughts together, like know exactly how I'm going to attack a situation before I make a move.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I would say I think people misunderestimate how strong Rose is and how intelligent Riley is, and it's always fun for me to watch when that happens.
You get the popcorn out.
Yeah, and just be like, I have said this a million times, and I know I'm going to get ish. I still think the most misunderstood thing about me is that I'm cocky. I am very confident in myself because I know I'm not going to be outworked. And I always say that, I know I empower people around me, so I have a really strong team. Whatever the goal is, if it's for coaching, if it's for the podcast, if it's for the show. So because of that, I'm very confident that I will find a way to figure it out. It might not be conventional. It's not going to be easy. But if it was like you have 24 hours to sell out M&T Bank Stadium, I'll find a way to do it somehow. So I think that gets misconstrued of being cocky.
But to add to that, I feel like there's a certain aspect of this business that if you're not just the tiny bit cocky, you will fail, because we are in an industry of egos, for sure. So if you're walking out in front of an audience of 20,000 people and you got to pump them up and rock it and make it the best show you ever, if you're sitting over here like, oh, I'm so insecure about myself, it's not going to work. It's just not.
Sure. Well, and don't get me wrong, I certainly understand.
We have our insecurities too. Don't worry about that. But
yeah, but I have a little bit of I don't know, maybe it's a little cockiness where it's I slept on the floor for a year eating tuna. So to come from that to being to this, and then I have photos up my house of all the shows because it's a cool thing to realize that was supposed to be a show 3 years ago. Now it's 32.
I realized the other day, and I almost want to apologize for Josh and you about this all the time, because I always mess with you about how many photos you have up in your house.
Yeah.
But I realized the other day that's your vision board. You know how I always do vision boards every single year, a new one? Those are your vision boards.
Oh yeah, that's like when I'm having a bad day, you look at it and go, I mean, I think I did the math. I've met like 60,000 people with the comedy tours, which is like, it's
That's
amazing.
Insane.
Yeah, which
That's
is dope.
So cool.
Yeah, and so that to me is always like it's worth it. And then the last photo I see before I leave my house is of my first apartment in Des Moines with Chewy. So that's like the reminder of like, it can always go back to that. And I printed off the first time I got in the air in Minneapolis, I printed off baseball cards on like printer paper. I have one of those framed by the door too of like, it can go back, man. It can always go back to that. So that was a really good question, Lauren. Casey has this is a question for Riley.
Hey guys, this is Casey in Tampa, and I just wanted to say how much I love the show, and also thank you so much to Riley for being so open about your miscarriage. And I just really look up to you guys. And I also just want to say that I am now 6 months pregnant, so just wanted to share that with you guys. I'm so thankful.
Oh my God, I love stories like that.
Yeah, thank you for listening on the iHeart app too.
Yeah,
but,
that makes me really happy because for a good little minute I toiled whether or not to talk about that as openly as I did because it's a sensitive subject and it could be kind of a trigger warning. But to hear stories like that it's just like, okay, it gave a little bit of hope. It's like, okay, I did the right thing in that situation because it wasn't easy to open up about that.
No, and for me, you're the first person that I know that's talked about it. I'm sure I know people have had one. I just didn't know they had a miscarriage. So that was the first like experience for me. I think there's a lot of people who are going through that who you helped them get through that. Now you got, it was
a very difficult road to go through, but it's a nice feeling to know that like I made somebody else feel like they weren't alone in it because it's the most isolating thing ever when you go through it and you think, oh, could I have done something differently or was it my fault? And no matter what the doctors tell you, you can just never feel better about it. So to hear that is real cool.
Yeah, I didn't know what a rainbow baby was until you told me. I was like, I was the most baffled. I have no idea. I have so many. Like, oh, that's so
the rainbow after the storm.
Yeah. Thank you for that question. I guess not a question, but comment, Casey.
Yeah,
thank you
absolutely.
For listening
thank you
on the free iHeartRadio app. If you
and congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely. 6 months.
Baby.
Wait, so then
so
they'll be
the babies will be a month apart. Yeah, so baby W is February, and I'm like 5 months and some change. So
that's awesome. Well, Casey, thank you for letting us know. This is why we love doing the voicemail stuff. 877-823-8477 to leave us a voicemail.